Nice. She's representing the what is that? Miami?
You know it.
She just
Miami
had to show off her boobs.
Miami Hurricanes.
What are you talking about?
Today is National Wear Your College Colors Day, so I had to pull out the you invented swagger, and I had to show the titties.
What is it though? What does it say?
Really, Chris?
You said, what does it say?
What does it say?
It says the you invented swagger.
What does that say?
Invented swagger.
He's just trying to look at your boobs longer.
Oh, he's just showing my titties. Wait, you want to see it again? Here we go.
It says to her. What is that?
You're horrible.
Ow.
All right, Tanya. All right.
Just give me an inch. I'll take a fucking whole foot. Seriously. Hi guys. Hi Shahidah. Hi Chris.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I
like the updo. The little updo with the braid.
This is my ode to. I'm trying to preserve it because I have an event to go to next week, and I don't want to take these out and have to do my hair. So I'm trying to keep it up, and when I go to bed, wrap it up and shit so that I can wear it. But this is also my ode to Janet Jackson, Poetic Justice. Justice braid.
I know I'm supposed to be getting my hair braided next week.
Nice.
I finally grew out enough. I'm like so excited.
Nice.
Better get it.
You both look very nice in braids.
Getting long. Huh?
I love my braids. I'm so lazy.
You both look very nice in braids.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. So
it is oh Lord Jesus, Married at First Sight. We all watched it, and I'm just gonna do this.
See, I like this episode. Really? I did not find it boring. I like this episode.
I found it boring until like the last 9 minutes when they got in the friggin' guts. Oh, Chris, you got your pomegranate.
And you grew that, right?
Grew that, yeah.
How many do you have in your backyard?
How many on the tree?
Yeah.
It's a younger plant, so I only have five or six on there.
That's nice.
Just small too.
Enough for you.
Yeah, I had my big one. I had 35. I had to give them away.
Oh wow!
So let me ask you this: how long does it take? Like, when did you plant that pomegranate? Before we get into Married at First Sight, because I'm just curious.
I planted this pomegranate probably 10 years ago.
So
7 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and it grows. And it had a big tree, but it takes at least 3 to 4 years to establish and then to flower and then to really. So like the first couple of years, I didn't have any. And then I was like, oh, what is that in the back? And in the back, there was one. I was like, okay. And then the next year, there was like 3 or 4 or whatever. And the rats ate all of them.
The fact that you have rats perplexes me. I don't get that.
And then,
they fruit and shit back there.
Right. And then the bigger it gets and the more it learns to produce. And so I planted that big tree and this little tree in a pot at the same time. 2 trees the same size. And this one I still have, but it's only about 3 feet high. And it's making these little small ones because it's in a pot, I think. And it can't really get big. So it's producing these little small little cuties. You know what I mean? Like cutie pomegranates. That look like
like the cutie oranges.
You know what I mean?
Oh wow!
Oh my god, that's so cute! They're like baby pomegranates.
Yeah, so I have one that's a bigger size, like 2 bigger ones, and the rest are these small ones. So, and these are called arils, ARILS. You ever want to know what a pomegranate seed is? Called an aril. Just so you know.
I love pomegranates and hate them because it is a pain in the neck to eat.
It is. I love them too, and I hate them because when my grandmother was alive. When my Nana was alive, she loved pomegranates just like me, but she loved to cut them and do all that, and I'd sit there at the table just put them in the bowl and put them.
Take the back of a wooden spoon and you spread it out and you smack it with the spoon, and they all come out.
Never know.
They stain like crazy.
They do. They do. Anyway, all right. So who are we talking about first?
Listen, let's get to the guts of this. And I want to talk about Merla and Gil real quick right off the rip.
Okay.
So, all right. So everybody, as you all know, they got back from the honeymoon, they moved into their mutual apartments together, and then they were going to each other's apartments to get their stuff. Merla is not in a position to be judging nothing when her closet, first of all, you can't be that bougie and judgmental and you're renting an apartment, number one. Number two, your closet is as big as my bathroom, one of my guest bathrooms. And you've got all these Louboutin boxes and Louis Vuitton bags and all this shit. But I'm going to say this, the one thing that tripped me out, and I was talking to my girlfriend, Nicole, earlier, and I was like, she watches it too, and I was like, but did you peep what 30-something-year-old woman or 30-something-year-old person still puts empty bottles on their kitchen counter? She had like 4 empty bottles of Veuve Clicquot champagne on the counter with like in between with empty bottles of Ciroc. And I'm like, who does that as decoration anymore? Like I did that shit when I was I did that shit when I was at the U with my 40 ounces of 8-ball because I was so poor and I was drinking malt liquor. We were lining them 8 bottles up.
I saw that. So
is that supposed to be decoration? That's what.
Yeah, it was on her kitchen counter, and she had like 4 bottles. She had like a bottle of Veuve, a bottle of Ciroc, a bottle of Veuve, a bottle of Ciroc, a bottle of Veuve, a bottle of Ciroc, all empty because I peeped the tops, and they were all nothing. There were no caps, no nothing on it. And I'm like, why would you keep that shit? Like, take a picture of the full bottle, all up
or
in the
not,
box.
or not.
Why even have it up in the first place? Yeah.
Well, it's like,
why are you keeping empty bottles of shit in your house?
But that's what I say with her. It's all a facade for her. She needs to show you these things to make her feel, worth. Honestly, I didn't hate her as much this episode as I have. I still don't like her, but it's at this point I'm like, she's like a non-factor bitch to me. She's just and I'm paying more attention to him. One, that he voted for Trump. 2, that he's like, calling her princess, and he's really kind of feeding that for her. And I'm wondering why he's doing that, because it's not really cute.
I don't know if he's feeding her it. He is playing into it to a certain extent, but he's acknowledging it though. You know what I mean? I think he's trying to acknowledge it in a way where he's acknowledging it but making fun of it.
Yeah, I do too.
But trying to let her know, oh, I see you being this way, and I'm gonna joke with you about it, but I'm actually serious about it.
But is she getting that message? Because she's taking it as lovely banter between the two of them.
But I think he's
it's low key insulting her sometimes too. He's low key insulting her on a little.
And she kind of needs that.
But let's talk about the pictures on the wall. He was already in the beginning. I don't want no IG wannabe model and all that. And he was like, oh, what's all that? With her pictures, or like 8 or 9 pictures on the wall of her and her various travels and her sexy poses. And she's like, why wouldn't I take a picture of me like that? And I'm like, yeah, you can do that, but why would you blow it up and put it on your wall? I agree with Gil on that one. I wouldn't do that. I've got great pictures of me. I'm not blowing them up and putting them on my walls, though.
I don't really have a big problem with her doing that, but I mean,
I kind of have a problem with her doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're because I don't see any other pictures of any big other people. It'd be one thing if you had that in a collection of all your, you want to show, but that's all her. It's all of her in her bathroom. So it's kind of like
it's not even in the bathroom. It's in her hallway. It's like in the hallway, like outside of her teeny tiny closet that she has her fancy shit in. I'm sure I'm thinking that's the hallway that goes from her closet to her bathroom or whatever. And it's on that wall, that back wall that she's got all those pictures. And then when you come into the apartment, remember when they walked into the apartment, she had about like 8 or 9 crosses on the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck is all that?
I noticed that on quite a few people's walls, but
I did. I was like,
that's because it's heavy Hispanic.
How many crosses do you need? Oh yeah, it must be Hispanic.
But I know that didn't really bother me as much. Her renting doesn't bother me as much. I mean,
we're talking that much shit. We're talking that much shit about money and
that.
She said she has a financial planner. So after all her savings and everything, that's her play money. And if that's her play money, that's fine. The only thing I have a problem with it is how she presents it. That's my thing. You don't need to, if you have all those things, you don't need that to validate who you are. And that's what I feel those things help her do, validate herself. Right. So
I agree with you.
So even like the apartment, that's fine. You don't want to own a home. Sometimes I don't want to own a home. A lot of times I don't want to own a home.
You always want to own a home. You just want to deal with owning a home.
Right.
The big difference.
I don't like the homeowner drama that comes with it.
Exactly. Sometimes I want to pick up the phone and say, hey, bitch, the water's not working. Come fix it.
Right.
But I'm the bitch. I got to fix it.
Right. Now you're going to find somebody.
You're the boss bitch, Shahidah, because you own it.
That's right.
I get it. But with her, I'm saying, those things don't bother me. It's just that she is an unlikable person. She needs these things to validate who she is, and she also needs those things to put other people down. That's my problem with her.
Yep. And what bothered me the most, not the empty bottles of alcohol on her countertop, which I thought was just like juvenile, but the fact that she wasn't even trying to hype the Wonder Dog. Listen to me. She wasn't even trying to look at that dog. And he was, when he's like, shake his hand. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, what is that? Oh, yeah, I'm just pointing. Do whatever. And then when he hugged the dog and she was like, oh my God, are you kissing the dog? And then when she got on her little confessional and was like, yeah, the likelihood of me kissing him now is like, it's extended. And I was just like, bitch, really?
Can I just say this in her defense again? She didn't like dogs. Why would you put her with someone that loves dogs? I'm neutral when it comes to dogs, but the bigger the dog is, the more turned off I'm going to be.
I would have walked into Gil's apartment and I'd have laid on Hype's bed with Hype.
See, I would never.
I would have spooned him to the point where Gil would have looked at me and been like, "Really? Are you his wife or my wife?" Because I'd have been like, "I love you."
I agree with you on the fact that the setup part of it. But even then, if you don't like dogs, if I don't like cats, I don't want. Then I just don't deal with the cat. But don't be fucking rude to something that your husband loves.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't like about her. She puts people down. She has an ugly demeanor. But the professionals, why would you do this? You had time to interview her, talk to her. I hope you talked to her friends. You realize how what her personality is and in how she sees one thing. Why would you put her with somebody who's like the total opposite?
But she said that. She made it very clear. And I'll give her that. I'll cut her that solid. I'm just a pet lover. So I was turned off completely on top of everything else I was turned off on her about. But she did own it that she told the professionals, I don't like pets. So why would they pair me with a dude that has a dog
because Gil is the only motherfucker that could deal with that bitch. Unless they found someone who was mega rich.
That's going to put her ass in her
place. He doesn't respect anybody or anything but money. And that's it.
Yep.
If you have money, she's all about money because she's like, I never want to be poor again. I'm never going to do this thing again. I don't even want I just want money. I just want money and what I have to do what I want to do And if you,
and that goes to the point again too. Most of the she needs therapy more than she needs marriage. There's some trauma there. I don't care what anybody says.
There's some trauma with every couple in this season that I'm like, before you start marrying these people to each other, these people need to go to straight up therapy and air their shit out. Everybody on this season.
No, everybody, period, needs to go. Everybody has trauma. Everybody has to go to therapy.
I get it. But look at here. If none of us are trying to get on Married at First Sight. Like you gotta handle your shit before you go on there and marry some goddamn stranger. That don't make no sense. And then as you marry them, now all of a sudden, all of the issues are coming to light.
It makes good TV. Remember, we're
watching and it makes
we're doing a podcast on based on the damn
podcast on it, and I love it. So, all right. So enough. Does anybody? Do you guys?
We ain't talking about Cupcake Wars, which is also a TV show. I don't give a shit about Cupcake Wars.
I love Cupcake Wars.
That's fun and everything, but I'm talking about we're not gonna make a podcast about Cupcake Wars.
No, we're not. We're not. Or Chopped. No.
Mine is what is that? The Great British Baking Show? No, I love that show. I do. I do a podcast on that show.
No, I appreciate it, but we have a whole hour. We spent a week talking about the motherfucking show.
That's right.
So they want dysfunction on there. The whole Chris Williams thing last year. Both of those needed.
And guess what? I got a little. When we end this podcast and we talk, I got a little juicy tidbit for next season. We're gonna keep that one. I'll tell you when we're done. Okay. Got it in. All right. So, anything more about Gil and Merla? Because I'm done with them too.
But I think what his strategy is. I don't think. First of all, I'm liking Gil even more because he's not so much of a pushover, even though he's a Trumper. But I think he's going to divorce her.
I think he is too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
he already knows. He knows she's a bitch. He knows she's rude. He knows all those things, and he's just trying to make it through the 7 weeks and be as nice as possible and be like, "This is my wife," because she ain't gonna fucking fuck him. She ain't gonna kiss him. She ain't gonna hold him. She barely holds his hand. She don't want anything. She's gonna be divorced, and she's gonna try to preemptively divorce him. Because she, as a dog and this and the other, I just don't want to be. She'll never get married unless it's someone fucking rich. Go ahead.
Exactly.
One more thing about Merla before we jump into somebody else. One thing I don't like about Gil is that the way he talks about her stuff. Like, she has like these 10 red bottoms and, I just don't see the need. I don't understand why it's just too much money. It's too much for you.
Yes, that's his ego talking.
Wait, Chris. I'm just saying.
No, I'm letting you go.
Okay, people like what they like. And I find that when people judge people for the things they like as it gets, more money or whatever, the reason why you're judging so hard is because you can't afford it.
That's right.
You don't want it. But if that person likes it and if that person can afford it, why are you judging them on what they want?
Because if you're going to be so that much into money, save up your fucking thing and get a house. You can't get a house in fucking Houston. Maybe. If you took three of those fucking Louboutin shoes, you spend 3 times a year, you buy 3 or 4 pairs of shoes. So you figure, we'll say on discount, we'll say $1,500, we'll say $2,000 for every time she fucking goes her 3 times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, right? Just shoes, not bags, not all this shit. We'll just go for that. So you figure 3 years at $2,000 a pop, at $6,000, we'll say she spends $8,000 a year, $9,000 a year, we'll say, for shoes, just for shoes. Take that over 3 years. Over 3 years or 4 years, because those Louboutins, some of them she had for 4 years.
And you got $40,000. Not worth nothing.
You got $40,000 to put down on a fucking house, which probably will cost you in use, or a condo, which we don't know if she owns a condo. I don't think she does.
She rents an apartment.
I think that she's renting.
She's renting an apartment.
So you figure she would have $40,000 to put down on a house in Houston, which you could get a condo for $100,000.
You can rent a house. You can rent a little McMansion in Houston.
We're talking about buying something. She could have bought a house if she sold this, that, and the other. She ain't thinking about, owning a house, having some equity. If you really want some money, that's what she needs. She's waiting for someone to take care of her.
That's right.
She's waiting for a rich dude to come in like, oh, I'm going to move into his house because he has the money. Because I get to buy my Louboutins, but he has to. So Gil has a house.
But and that's why that's why she's so easily to be dismissive of him and say what she wants to him, because he's very vocal of, I'm just a firefighter. I don't make that kind of money. I'm just this, that, and the other. But I guarantee you, if they would have matched her with some wealthy ass motherfucker that had his own mansion and all these cars and all this money in the bank, and they went to the Florida Keys on the Lifetime dime, and she's acted a fool, and he'd look at her and be like, bitch, shut your damn mouth. She'd be like, yes, daddy. Yes,
but you have to understand, a man with a lot of money is not going on Married at First Sight, because there are plenty of women.
Thank you.
That are trying to, this, that,
exactly.
And the other. So
but my point with Gil is I'm not liking him much either. It started up there and it's just going downhill because I'm not feeling impressed by him as much. I don't even like his self-depreciation of like, I'm just this and I can only have this or whatever. That's fine. I don't like it when people put people down for any reason. Her reason for not having, the Louis Vuitton or the big stuff or whatever, she puts people down for that. And then he's putting her down in the same breath for having those things. Whether or not she chooses to buy a house or not. Some people choose for the rest of their life. For all we know, she could have a real estate investment trust and she's investing that way with property and decide never to own her own home.
Damn well.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Financial planner, we don't know what they have planned out for her.
Damn well Merla ain't fucking saving any fucking thing. That bitch is fucking putting her Ciroc.
What did she have?
The Ciroc bottle.
Putting her Ciroc and Veuve Clicquot bottles on the counter.
Maybe she's using the money from her REITs to buy that Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, but that's fine. But you can't talk about. I understand. I get your point about Gil being like, I don't know why you would need that. You're right. She can buy whatever the fuck she wants with her thing. But if she's trying to build something and coming to the table, if you're as he's got a house, that's a start.
No, not him. I said, has she said she's trying to build anything?
No, I'm talking about trying to be married. When you get married, you're getting married to build something. That's how you get married.
But what
does she bring into the table? What does she? That she should be on the fucking show then.
And with that comes compromise, because I'm okay with Merla buying all her shit, but now she's married and he's coming to her with his thing. She should be able to be like, the two of them should be able to sit down and be like, okay, we need to compromise. Because I get it. I'd look at her sideways too, and I did when they went to her little teeny tiny closet with all that expensive shit in there. And I'm just looking at it like, why would you pay for that shit, for that teeny tiny closet? I'd much rather fucking take the money, buy my house,
right,
and have a bomb ass closet,
right,
that's filled with Payless shoes or Walmart shoes or fucking DSW
but
shoes.
As Shahidah was saying, she does it for the show.
That's it.
She's all about the show.
I think it's all about the show for her.
How she looks,
yep,
her shoes, her attitude,
follows on Instagram. It's all about. And little tidbit I saw on Instagram earlier on Tea in the Shade. She sold her dress, her wedding dress. She put her wedding dress on Instagram for sale for $6,400, and somebody had commented and was like, "Why is she selling her dress? I thought Lifetime, the show, paid for the dress." And somebody was like, "Yep. The show pays for the wedding gowns and the suits." She put that shit on Instagram selling her dress. Why would you sell your wedding dress for $6,400?
I would like to see the person that would buy that, because her dress wasn't saying anything.
I liked her dress. Don't get me wrong. I liked her dress. I liked it for her.
$6,400.
But I ain't paying $6,400 for that little shit. No. I'm paying $6,400.
So I think yeah. I mean, to be selling the dress, that seems kind of desperate.
Right. She's selling the dress.
I wonder how true the story is. I mean, is it on her Instagram where we can go and see it?
I didn't go to her Instagram. It was just Tea in the Shade where they showed it and they were like, "Oh, is this going to? Well, are they still married?" Because
I would say if you're selling it, then you're not married anymore.
True. So I'll have to look at it later. I just gave that little advanced tidbit. So everybody go to Tea in the Shade and figure it out.
Wow, that's
done with I'm done with them. I give them. Honestly, I'm still with them at the low bottom, 20-25%. I don't think they're going to make it at all. I think she's only in this. I think she's only in this to hype up or increase her Instagram followers and likes. And she'll parlay that shit. She'll get her little blue check and then she'll parlay that shit into ads where she'll get paid.
She's not getting a lot of likes. She might on her personal page, but on Twitter, she's the villain and nobody likes her. I mean, and I know you can parlay that into something, the worse you are, you can definitely. But what has he gotten so far? Not a whole lot, not yet. And most of the bad guys that have been on the show, remember the guy that was married to the woman and everybody said that he was just on there to build up his Instagram?
Oh, yes, Mindy, the guy that married Mindy. Remember Mindy?
Yeah, right?
Yes, I forgot his name.
Zach, right? Zach,
that's it, Zach and Mindy.
So
I don't know where he's at, but then again, I wasn't really into them that much. So
I was
in the white
show.
Community, who's to say that maybe he's got a whole bunch of followers?
But I'm saying like that would be something that would come up on especially on the Married at First Sight Twitter feeds, what he's doing if he's blowing up or something. You get some tidbits. I'm just saying playing the bad guy on these shows doesn't necessarily mean. It's not like it's like Bad Girls, the TV show, Love and Hip Hop. Those people blow up. Who's that?
Mindy.
Who?
Mindy. Mindy moved to Mexico. I saw that. She was on a show. She moved to Mexico. She's living in Mexico, living her best life.
Is she with anyone? Good for her.
No, she's doing her.
Because he was a straight asshole.
He was a straight up fucking psycho.
He was a dick.
And then Chris came along and he was a big one. And now we have Merla.
All right, so that's Zach. So how many people did 23,000?
23,000 people. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I bet he didn't have that when there he goes. Thirst trapping. Here we go. Enough of them. We're on this season. All right. Are we done with Gil and Merla?
Yep, I'm done.
All right, let's go to the boringest ass couple, Ryan and Brett. That ain't gonna take no more than a minute. I don't get it. I do like Brett's house, though. I mean, no, not Brett. Ryan's house. I do like Ryan's house. His little
he should have a nice house.
I like this little triple story thing. I like that shit. But that shit, Ryan is just, his eyes is just dead to me, and I can't watch him.
He's a serial killer.
Yes, he always has this look on his face when he looks at her or looks at anybody for that matter. Like there's nothing there. There's nothing behind his eyes and his emotions. He's just like, I'm just here.
Even when he was talking with Dr. Cal and he was trying to compliment her, it was so lackluster. There's no excitement,
nothing,
or emotion behind his words, in his eyes. Like you said, it's just straightforward. He does remind you of a sociopath.
Exactly. He's got the brown. Listen, I got dark brown eyes. He's got dark brown eyes, but there's emotion there with me and anybody else that has dark brown eyes. When she said to him, when Pastor Cal was there, and she's like, I have a crush on you. I thought that was really cute. When she said to him, I have a crush on you. Yeah, I like you. I have a crush on you. And he's just like this. And I was like, dude, give her something. And then he was like, well, I like her, but I'm not there yet. And I felt bad for her because she was like, I think she wanted the same thing, but I'm like, yo, he ain't reciprocating.
Well, no. The question was, I mean, I'm not defending these assholes, but I'm just saying the question is like he said when he's with somebody that he's really, in love with or whatever, he's willing to give his life for that person. And he said he's not there yet with her, which is understandable.
No. I get it.
But he did say at the very beginning, he tells everybody that, he meets, she's a great chick. I really like her. So I get it, what he's saying. It's just that both of them, in my opinion, are so left. They're so boring. I don't get anything from her either. I'm like, at first I was just like, she seemed like she has a little bit more, maybe because she's paired with him, but both of them, I'm like, oh, it's nothing.
It's like a boner killer. Like, I'm so excited watching everybody else, and then they show them too. I'm like, my boner goes away.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel anything with them. Their vibe is
it's just dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think
I'm interested. But
at this point, I give them a 0% of making it because they're just two totally different people.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, right. Because I think she seems to like him.
She does.
Of course she does. She admitted it.
We know what the issue between, the issue of the politics is going to definitely come up.
And the fact that he fucking, when she walked into his room and the fucking deer head on the wall. I mean, I give him credit that he was like, we can move that into like the garage.
Yeah,
or
I give him credit for that too.
Something. I get that. But I think that's a bit much for her.
I don't see why that would be. I'm not into that kind of stuff either. But if you like to hunt, if you like to fish, and you're this outdoorsy person, and you can do that without me being your cheerleader, we're fine.
Oh, we're fine there. Yeah, because I like chicken, I like steak, I like fish, and I like venison. So, and I like veal. So if you're gonna go out there and kill it and pluck it,
nothing is better than when it's freshly slaughtered.
Oh, listen, I could go to a whole nother story about my upbringing, but I'm going to digress. I'm not going to go there. But I'm saying I'm not against it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to.
I think if she can get past that, but I will. He doesn't need her to be there with him on all these things or whatever. I think she's fine. I think that they have a good chance of making it because I need to see more about how she feels about those social things. You know,
that's gonna, it's gonna take
especially white women
as a group
have an easier time voting against those social issues on the bigger scale. It's only when it pertains to them personally. You know what I mean? So if she's really like, on a whole, I don't want anybody to suffer and I need police reform or something, then that will be a problem. But if she's just like, no, I think we need police reform and, things about, and then she can accept his views, I can see them making it.
Yeah, I can say, but I don't think she's going to accept
Texas right now.
Tolerating
abortion bill.
Tolerating it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If she can, you're saying if she can tolerate his whatever.
And a lot of them can tolerate.
Right. You're right.
Stuff. Even if it's going against their own good, they can tolerate it.
Yep. They'll deal with it.
So I still think that for me, I'm still like at 60% or so.
No,
it's just that I'm so unenthused by them as people. I don't care.
I'm at 50-50 now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if they are or if they're not. I need
with 60.
Okay.
I'm on the Gil and Merla with the 20-25%. I think that them two couples ain't gonna make it.
Right.
I won't even go. I'll save my opinion for the end of the show. I'll say it. I'll wait. All right. So who's next? Let's go with
Rachel and Jose.
Let's go with Rachel and gay ass Jose. Yeah, I said it. He gay. And I'm sorry. He's gay. Not sorry. He just needs to own it.
I don't know. He may be. He might not be. He could just be
Maybe
very.
That's just too much for me.
They consummated their relationship.
I saw that. And you already saw the text that I sent you guys that I'm not gonna put on the podcast, but I'm just saying.
I'm like, I as far as Jose is concerned, I think we said it last week. My only problem with him is he is on this one road. It has no rocks on it. You know, it's smooth. It's to one destination, and he can't go off to the side to go and go to the store and pick up gas or anything like. Nope, he has to stay on that road, and he has to mellow out. I mean,
he's inflexible.
He is just, and then like his whole budgeting thing on the wall. Let me tell you something.
That's a turn off for me.
When there have been men that I've dated that have been like, you know, very into their finances and they have like a budget or whatever, I can appreciate that. But don't expect me to be that person. If I can accept you for who you are and what you do and respect that, then please respect me for who I am and respect that. So great, do your budgeting. I feel that only helps the marriage grow. But then you got to go and travel, and you got to go and do some things that she wants to do, and you have to loosen up, because it's not all about saving every single dime. For fucking what? You're saving the dime so that you can go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you, because you could die tomorrow, and guess what? Where's that money going to? You know what I mean? Like I keep a nest egg I have my house. I keep a nest egg for rainy day fund. So just in case shit fucking breaks in my house, goes south, I can fix it. I can pay for it. But outside of that, I mean, I have like a savings account, but I'm like, outside of that, I'm like, I'm good.
Live your life, boy.
I'm living my life because I have no children. I have no spouse. So if I drop dead tonight, there's going to be a whole gang of people in my family. That's why I have a will. That is going to be like trying to fight for shit. And I'll be like, nope, got the will.
I think Rachel is reasonable in her every 2 years taking a major trip.
Very reasonable.
That's a reasonable thing. She said every 2 years taking a major trip, right?
Yeah.
And then goes on a trip every month, like a smaller trip every month.
Mm-hmm. I didn't catch that part, but I heard you say that last week.
When he said, instead of going to Europe, why don't you just go to New York?
Who the fuck?
I said, first of all, New York is more expensive than fucking Europe.
This is true, and this is what a lot of Americans do not realize.
You don't fucking know that.
Cheaper.
He's like, why would you go that far?
Why
would you go that far? Why don't you? Yeah, I think it's because he hasn't traveled.
No,
he hasn't traveled, so he doesn't know what it's like. So she needs to take his ass on a trip and be like, oh, okay, I get it. Even though he's going to be scrimping and saving. You can't have someone so tight and inflexible. You got to be okay. If we're going to take $1,000 and throw it away, gamble it, Bitcoin, whatever, you can't be like in that $1,000. Oh, we should take 500 and put. No, it's $1,000 you're going to blow. You're going to blow it up, do whatever. She needs that type of thing where they have a fund for the two of them. They can take 50 cents out of the dollar or, whatever, 20 cents out of the dollar, whatever they make in their common fund. When they're putting it together, and take it away and say, all right, Jose, this is just for travel. Just that's it. I need this. You can do your investments and all that kind of stuff over there, but we need to fucking have fun too. And Pastor Cal called him out on that too. He said, "This is who she is." So you gotta start getting a little more flexible. And if he really wants it. If he really wants it, he would really loosen. He'll loosen up if he really wants it. Otherwise, he'll just get a nice man to be no income, no kids. That's what he really wants. I got all my stuff over here. You got your stuff over here. We do the butt bongo.
I don't know. I think he really wants to be married. I'm not sure if it's the whole beard thing, like you guys are saying. I'm not.
I think it's a beard thing.
I
think he's trying too hard. I think he's trying way too hard, and he's overcompensating. And the one thing
he puts that same energy into his life completely. So it's like, when it comes to finances, when it comes to his job, that's the same type of energy where it's like way too much, everything. It's like obsessive,
How rude is like, oh, you don't throw the bottles out? Like, bitch, it's not your fucking house. Shut the fuck up.
Right. When as soon as he walks into her apartment, he's like, he has like 4 or 5 empty water bottles there. Oh my God. That's like,
like, why would you have that? Why? And he also put her down. He put, I don't like how he talked about her putting her down, like going on trips or this, that, and the other, or this is who she is. It's not so crazy to have water bottles by the door, probably taking out for deposits or something like that. That's why to refill them. And are you expecting to bring your husband back if you haven't been home for whatever? And then, he's seeing you for the first time. I guess they kind of, clean it up or whatever beforehand, but he's kind of rude. I don't like his attitude.
And he's extra because I'm gonna, before I go back to when she went to his house, I'm going back to the conversation that they had about, he was like talking about her car because apparently she's got she must be driving a hoopty. And she said the shit, and I was like, go ahead, Rachel. I love that shit. Because for me, I don't give a fuck about a car. I need a car to drive me from point A to point B. I need it to work, obviously. I don't care if it's got a couple of bumps and scrapes, because guess what? I ain't sleeping in my car. Because he was like, he tried to justify to her like, oh, let's save the money, and like you want to go on trips, but he said to her, I'm looking at your car, and your car may need to be replaced. And she checked his ass. She clapped back at him and was like, there's nothing wrong with my car. She's like, yeah, it's not the most pretty car. She's like, but it gets me to where I need to go. I got like another year, maybe 2 years, maybe more in that car. He was disgusted by the fact that she's obviously driving some piece of shit car. So I'm like, we already know he's all about the appearances. The keeping one up on the Joneses are like, they drive that. My wife has to drive this.
But my thing is, if you have saved so much money and you're really savvy with your expenses, you can't get a car and go on a trip in the same year.
She was in school too.
No, I'm not talking about her. She's fine. I'm with her. She's fine. I'm talking about him. Like,
his car's not
because he wants to hoard as much money as he can. This is the vibe I'm getting from him. He doesn't want to do anything.
But that's my point.
Properties and hoard money.
But that's my point. It's like, again, you're saying that you saved all this money, you have this rental, and you're financially fit. But you, in the same breath, you're saying I can't afford a car and a vacation in the same year with your wife because she's all set.
But if you looked at his whiteboard, because I paused that shit on his whiteboard.
I tried to.
He ain't got no money. All right. He ain't got no money like that. Like no money. He's got, I literally paused that whiteboard when they kept showing it. I was like, I gotta pause this. I gotta see this motherfucker's finances.
Okay.
Because he keeps talking all this shit. He's only got $7,200 in the bank.
Really?
$7,200 in the bank. And I am impressed with his 401k, but then again, it is what it is. 401ks are up and down. His current 401k, he has $70,000 in the 401k. But again, it's a 401k. That shit could turn and go down like $14,000 or $15,000.
And it's not hand money. It's not in your hand.
Exactly. He had like his bills, like his mortgage. Oh, not his mortgage. I don't know if he's renting the house or he has a mortgage on the house. But I'm looking at the numbers. And then he had like
because like his monthly expenses like $800. It was low.
And then he was like leftover money. Leftover money was like $300 or $400 to like play with. And I'm saying to myself, bro, you ain't got that kind of money. Number one, that would warrant a whiteboard. I get it if you want to keep it up there for your own calculations, but shit, look, I'm good.
So I did see his expenses, and I thought like, wow, $800 is for your whole monthly expenses.
No,
low. That's very low. But I didn't.
You gotta go back. You gotta go back and watch that shit and pause that shit because I kept pausing it, and I was like, I gotta look at that shit.
I think that he is the reason why he's getting ahead or getting other properties is because he's such a penny pincher. You know, he's trying to build his empire with not a lot to start with. So he's trying to do this. So with her, she's like, I'd much rather live my life.
Right.
And go do what I want to do. If my car is shitty right now, my car is shitty right now. Look, my car is shitty. Look, I own my fucking house. I love my fucking house. I drive a Vespa and I got a fucking 2004 Toyota Tacoma piece of shit stick shift.
Thank you.
I had my nice car and I was paying. I was like, I don't really need it.
I don't
so
live
I
in my
save all that money a month to spend on hookers. You know, it's an easier. I'm joking. It's a joke. That's a joke.
I was like, wait a minute, did I just hear that?
The way he just smoothed it in there, like,
you just threw us for a loop. My brain, I'm like, oh no.
Understood. But anyway, saving that money, I save it for travel.
Exactly.
Honestly, so I don't care about my appearance of my car, but I got a fucking house, I got, you know, and I've been to 51 fucking countries, not because of someone, you know what I mean? So,
but see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, let her have the experiences. That's only going to enrich your marriage. If all you're going to do is penny pitch and save and keep her in the house or just going to, like, you know, local restaurants, that's not enrichment in your marriage.
No.
She wants to go with him. She wants to take his. Exactly. She wants him to take his money and travel, and he's not about that.
No,
he's not about that. So I don't know how that's gonna work itself out.
Yeah, I don't know how that's.
You don't think? I mean, I would hope in the next few weeks we would see him try and come down. But like I said, it seems like he has an obsessive personality. It seems like he gets on one thing and then that's all he sees and all he wants to do.
Agreed.
The discipline on some things is admirable, but you've taken it from discipline to obsessive, and now you need the therapy again.
No, and look here, go and have a motherfucking whiteboard if you ain't got $1 million on that goddamn whiteboard in your savings account.
But that's how you get to the $1 million with the whiteboard. That's how
I don't need a whiteboard.
Why would you put all your shit? First of all,
I'm not putting all my business.
Why would you put all that stuff in the middle of the kitchen or whatever?
It's in
so
his
everyone
office.
That's in his office.
Yeah.
Does it keep it closed?
I thought it was in the kitchen.
Yeah. No, it was in his office. They walked in. His desk was in front, and then the whiteboard is behind his desk.
So why would you have it all out where people can see it? Is what I'm saying.
I know. Right. I'm pretty sure it was in his office that you walked in, and the desk is in front of it.
I thought I could have sworn it was in the kitchen.
It looked like it was on his wall as soon as you walked in his house in the kitchen.
Anyway, so I think he doesn't. First of all, he doesn't know the joys of travel. I think that's what it is. He doesn't know why traveling is worth spending the money to do.
Spend the money.
He doesn't understand that yet, and he wants what he wants when he wants it. You know,
what does he want though?
He wants.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about the tour that he gave her of his house, and I was like, oh my god, if we were on the fence about his gayness, that tour he gave her of his house, I was like, gay. Oh yeah, he was like, oh, this couch here, and then I want to get this wall out here, and I want to do this, and she's just looking at him like, really?
And at one point he goes, oh, did you see the ceiling? Did you see that? And I was like,
I don't want no man looking at me doing that shit to me, because to me I'm like, oh,
because he's so impressed. He's so impressed by his own place.
Yes.
He's impressed by himself. Again, he's like Merla, but he's just not as nasty about it. But he wants to, he feels like these things and this money and, you know, his credit score, that makes him worthy. So
because he made it very clear to her that his credit score is like 810. And I was like, did you really?
No, it was only like 7 something. It wasn't even 8.
Oh, I thought he said like 8.
I thought he said 8 something too.
I thought he said 8 something.
I thought he said 7 something, and I was like,
no, he said 8 something.
He said 8 something.
Yeah.
I think it was like 810 or 825 or something.
something.
And I'm looking at him like, so okay, why would you say that? Again, when people do that shit, I'm a little suspect because I'm like, this is the same thing as people that like talk about how much money they have and what they're doing. I'm like, if you got to brag on that shit, you really don't have shit.
Nope.
Well, you just said he didn't. You looked at the blackboard.
I looked at the board. And if you got $7,200 in your savings account, you ain't in a position to be talking shit about anybody. Because
I just want to know what he's saving his money. What is he saving his money for? That's what I want.
He's just saving his money because he wants to have this life.
I understand that, but I'm saying usually, I know he's hoarding, but what do you save money for? Like, what's important to you? Why, if he has a bigger goal in mind that is like this and the other, but if he has all this stuff, you're right, Shahidah, he can afford to take a trip and fucking, then he's not gonna be able to, whatever. I think.
And if your credit score is like 8 something, then you get in that car with like pretty much no interest. So I don't get what his goal is. I feel like he's like Merla a lot. That stuff represents who he is. So
I think his goal
empty.
I think his goal is to be secure financially because he always talks about his family. His mom, obviously his parents, his dad, he makes that very clear. His dad cheated on his mother and now the dad's with the new wife and his mom, struggled, whatever. I think his thing is he just wants to be secure. He doesn't want to fall. And, we all have this. I have to say it. I got that shit where it's like, I don't want to be like my parents back in the day or struggling and do whatever. I'm going to work and hustle, but I'm not going to be that regimented. That I'm going to be like, if I want to take a trip, fuck it, I'm taking a trip. If I'm going to spend money on something, I'm going to spend it.
All right, let's go another couple. Oh, wow. Right. It's already 50 minutes and we ain't got Johnny and Bao?
Let's do let's Johnny and Bao. Johnny and Bao. Anybody? We're all silent on Johnny and Bao.
I think it's
all right.
I like the fact that he was. I'm sorry. When Pastor Cal, kid said, "What don't you like about her?" That had the fucking balls and guts to at least say what he had to say to her.
But that surprised me because I thought he was going to harp on the snoring thing. I was like mind blown when he brought up the whole she's so giddy and like immature, and that's a turnoff to me. I was like, oh snap, really, Johnny? I thought he was going to talk about the snoring thing.
Go ahead.
I don't think he was really bothered too much by the snoring. It was her that had the problem because he was teasing her about it. So he did say that, that's something I'm going to have to get used to. I could see him being like, her being like, what did he call? He said, joyous, or what was the thing he said that she did? I don't know, something about her joy or whatever.
Her giddiness. That's what he said. That's what I was saying. I was shocked that when Pastor Cal was asking him and he was all like, I don't want to bring it up. And he brought up the giddiness. I thought he was going to bring up her snoring. He said, she's so giddy. Like, it's like childlike. He's like,
childlike. That was the one I was looking for.
She gets giddy. And he's like, and I'm just like.
Okay. My thing with that, I get what he's saying and I can understand that to an extent, but how can she ever be herself now? Because if you remember earlier, she said when they did the whole Star Wars fight thing, she said one of the things that she loved about him was he allowed her to be childlike and, just joyous in her moment. Yep. I don't know how you come back after that.
I think, let me first, before I get into this, when I saw that scene of the lightsabers, I said to myself as I was watching, I'm like, oh, Shahidah must be fucking creaming her pants right now. Because they were like, shake, and they were like, kang, kang, kang. I was like, oh my gosh, she would ever. Darth Vader helmet on, like, kang, kang, I'm your father, Luke. But here's the thing. I think it's convenient for Johnny. Like, he likes it when it's convenient for him. He likes her giddiness and her goofiness. But when it comes down to like being intimate with kissing, I think that he's more like, I want to be more sensual, more adult. I don't want the chuckling or the like when we're kissing. I think Johnny's a freaky deaky, and I like it.
I think it's just a matter of they need to have sex.
Yeah.
First. And then we'll see how it happens. Then we'll see how she reacts to him and how he reacts to her. Because I think that's one thing right now. He's like, well, she doesn't seem sexy to me. Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing about it that's turning up. But also, she's not trying to be like trying to be sexy. She's still trying to figure it out. And like, it's honeymoon. Yeah. It's only been a fucking 8 days or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of like
to be comfortable.
She really likes him though too.
Yeah,
she does.
Right.
So, I just feel like him saying that, and I know it was rough for him to say that. I think he should have held on to it, a little bit longer, because it's going to hinder her showing her, like she said, it's going to make me not want to be so joyous with him in moments,
Right. And that's why I respected Pastor Cal for telling her that. Like he told her, don't you
that's
change.
His issue.
Basically, that, and he told Johnny, that's your shit. Like you got to figure that out, because you never want to put a person in a position that now I got to change my whole being to be with this person.
Right.
So I'm glad that
Cal told her that. And she heard it, but she's not going to. I don't think mentally she's there yet, but I think she will be.
You don't think
I give them a solid 80%, 85%. I think the two of them are going to make it. Out of all these couples, I think that them two are going to be the only ones to make it, because they have had these hard conversations. They have made the effort to sit down and communicate and be vulnerable with each other. And they may, like Johnny left. He's like, when they got back to the apartment in Houston, he's like, after we have this meal, I'm going to go back to my apartment. I need a couple of days to figure my shit out. And then he came back and they had a conversation. I love the fact that she gave him his time, even though she didn't like it. She gave him his time. And then he came back with the food and they sat down. And I love the fact those two are the only two that are having hardcore conversations and digging deep
about differences.
Yes.
Early on in their relationship.
On the honeymoon, they're doing this shit. So if anybody out of the 5 couples that's going to make it, if I'm saying it, I give Johnny and Bao at least a solid 80, 85%.
I give him 100, but I just don't know. I don't. I feel like he's petty. I think
he is petty, but I think that they have a lot of history.
How is he petty though?
I'm saying when one thing that he does that just bugs me so much now, it does, because he said it too many times. If I were dating her, I would be gone. He says that way too many times to her. And I feel like slowly Bao is going to be building up walls. This last one about her getting this or whatever, and I don't think it's intentional on his part. Yeah, he's trying to be open about certain things, but dealing with women or just dealing with human beings, you say things and you think that, oh, I'm just trying to be honest with you, but those things stay in your head. And for whatever reason, it grows into, especially if it's negative, and you can come back and you can apologize. Him telling her that he didn't like the way she behaved on, her giddiness or whatever, I don't think she's going to come back from that.
But why is he petty though? Where's the pettiness come from?
There's certain things that he said. Like I said, that whole thing about him, if I was dating you, he doesn't have to keep saying that to her over and over again. That
he doesn't. He's only said to her. We've seen that in his talkbacks where he said at this point, he's saying to her. But the thing about that to me is he's saying, but I'm staying because of this, because I made a commitment. I give him kudos for his honesty. Bottom line, this, that, and the other. at least he's being honest. Even if it may backfire for him, even if it may stick with her, at least he's being upfront and saying, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is who I am. I may have to make adjustments with that, just like Pastor Cal called him out and said, that's your issue, you're making it your issue. But at least he's looking at those feelings and looking at those things and making his honest assessment at the time of when it is.
And I think that he's being so brutally honest with her because they have history. They know each other. She knows his shit. When she was at UT or UT Austin or whatever the fuck he was, or he was at UT Arlington. I don't know what the fuck, UT Houston or UT, whatever. They ran in the same circles. So she knew what he was about. He was a player. She said that. And I'm thinking that because she knows how he was, he has to be honest with her. Like, girl, I date a lot of people. And yeah, at this stage of the game, I'd probably, if we weren't married, I'd probably be done with you and on to the next girl. I get that. I think he's just being honest with her.
But he's staying though. He's still having the conversation.
Right.
That's respected for the
fact that he's using that ring, that marriage, as he's like, I'm going to stay.
Well, that's another thing. He left because men, as a lot of times, the reason why men have men caves and this, that, and the other is that we like to be away and deal with our problems and then come back. Women usually, this is a generality, women usually like to be in this mix at all times and stay in the mix. Men physically sometimes have to separate ourselves. That's like why men are from Mars and women are from Venus. The whole thing about it, man going to his cave. Let the man go, and he came back with food and a better fucking attitude.
Yep. And he told her.
If he had stayed there,
yep,
it'd have been bad and worse and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
He told her. And he communicated with him. I like him. I have hope for them. I think that they're going to last. I like Johnny. I think Johnny.
I like Johnny. I just think Johnny.
And I like Bao.
Looking at Johnny, I understand, Shahidah, why you don't like him. Why you could seem like you like. I just think it's him. Honestly, he's just fucking afraid that he's in this thing now, and he's like this. He's like this, even though he wants it. I think his fear is all jumping to the top of the surface right now, and he's like, I do want this to work, but I can be honest about this. I'm honest about that. So it may seem like he's a dick, but I don't really honestly think that he's a dick. I just think that he knows that there's going to be so much work that goes into this marriage that he's like, fuck, I gotta fucking do this work, even though. But can I just go away for a second? I'm going to do the work. I'm coming back and do the work. Let me just go away for a second. Okay, I'm back to do the work again. You know what I mean?
I respected the fact that she let him be. Like, she didn't lose her shit. You could tell she was a little sad.
She said she didn't like it. She's like, I didn't like it.
She didn't like it, but she did not lose her shit. She got up, got her shit ready, go to work to handle her business, and there was no drama there. She was like, she made it known she didn't like it, but she handled her business. And then when he came back, honey, I'm home, with the Thai food in the bag. They sat down, they had a conversation about it. I respect that. Unlike Zach and Michaela, I told you there was something off with that bitch.
No, there's something off with Zach too.
And had a tantrum after walking from room to room. I get it. He was wrong. He should have walked in the room and said,
100% wrong.
She said, don't wake me up. She says, don't.
Oh, that's right.
Any circumstance.
You're right.
He should have left the note. He should have left the note or should have texted. Even if he already told her that he should have left the note or whatever, should have texted. That's a new experience of being married and being beholden to someone else.
Right.
But for her to be fucking like, the world came apart at the seams, and you left, and I don't know where you are, and the world's.
Michaela, she did exactly what she said. She thought was abusive. Remember when they had the conversation before, and she's like, I just think it would be just like abuse. That's abuse. If we have a disagreement or whatever, and the person just leaves, that's a form of abuse. And what does she do? She wakes up. I mean, he's wrong in the fact that she was texting him and he didn't.
And he gaslit her too. He was gaslighting her.
Right. But the fact of the matter is, you sat there and said, I think that's a form of abuse to just leave. And when she's like, Zach, open the door, Zach. And then she was standing at that table and friggin' when she pounded her fist on the table with the Clorox wipes, I was like, yo, there's something wrong here. And I knew something was off with her.
Fuck
down. Why would you do that? Like, I wouldn't even do that. I would go back to my room. I mean, I'd be pissy. Don't get it twisted. I'd be pissy. Like, where the fuck is he? I'd go to my room, lay back in my bed or try to get ready for work, and I text him. If he's not responding, I'm not having a tantrum or a meltdown.
That is the first time it happens. You say, I didn't like that.
And she packed her bags and she left.
Don't do it again. I didn't like it. Don't do it again. As opposed to, yeah. Come on. Look, when Chris Williams, the day after they got married, went to breakfast by himself for 3 hours, and she was like, oh, well, I wish you would have said something. I didn't really appreciate that. Duly noted. Then the next time he does it, then she can go off on him.
Right.
That's the same thing with Michaela. Look, he's just getting to know you. He said, don't wake me up. You knew I had a dog apartment. You knew I would be going someplace. It's not like I had nothing to do and we were going to spend the day together or we had plans to do something and I disappeared. He's like, I was just fucking that's some guy shit that he's not in he's not in a relationship yet, or he doesn't know what it's like to be in a marriage. Right. Now he has to be beholden and let his wife know where he is at all fucking times. And you learn that one lesson and then let her, then she should be like, okay, I don't like this. Duly noted. Let's not happen again. Done. Conversation done. He'd be like, okay, got it. I'm just trying to explain, but I got it. Got it. But boom. There should be no explosion or building up of. I'm not going
to. And the fact that she put all her shit in the bags.
After Cal came, and she's like this. And he's like, he's kind of being, even though you're right, he made a mistake. He's kind of like, well, what's the,
Oh, wait, let me give you the face when she was like.
I got her face. My thing with Michaela is when she started talking about like her father and the trauma there and like
therapy first.
Wait,
don't marry a man.
Let me finish. You had years to process and deal with this. This should not be coming into your marriage at this point. So I'm thinking, are you just using that as an excuse for your behavior? Because it was out of pocket. The way that she behaved, she clearly has some anger issues.
Do you think?
Some serious, but I get that that could have been missed by the experts, because again, remember how she talked the night before. I'm not the person that's gonna get up and just leave. I'm not gonna like ignore your phone calls. I think she talks a really good game. Her game talk was really good. And then like you said, she went and did the exact opposite. Her anger issues are so serious. I don't think.
And abandonment issues. That's what it is. She feels abandoned.
Yeah, so deep. I mean, I don't think it has to do with her father.
Well, her father abandoned her by dying.
That's not
that's how people.
I know it's a real thing.
Absolutely.
People deal with abandonment like that.
He had years to deal with that. Years to deal with that. And therapy.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like some of it is an excuse for her anger. Maybe her anger comes from someplace else. It could come from, feeling abandoned, but I feel like it's not that. I feel like it's something else, because she was over the top insane.
I'm going to say this. Here's my thought process on this. I'm going to opinionate and say, I don't think she's ever had therapy. after the tragic loss of her father due to a drunk driver. I think that she's got them 3 adult ass, grown ass sisters of her that friggin' enveloped her and did everything to protect her. And did everything to protect her. And now here she is in a marriage. I feel bad for Zach. I get it. Zach's shit is off too. But I'm going to say this. Zach is not it is not Zach's responsibility. And that's on the professionals table. You should never allow him to marry her. The bitch got clear issues. She got daddy issues, abandonment issues, and the fact that she has not properly grieved for her father and gotten that shit taken care of. Now you got this man that Pastor Cal is like, you now are her protector. He has no clue what to do with that. And when she kept trying to go in and hug her, and she's like, oh, defensive and giving him the side eye, of course he's going to be like, well, I'm just going to slide back over here. Because that's what I would do. Because I'm looking at you like, I don't know your pain. Listen, I feel sorry for you. And I'm married to you. But what I'm not going to do is slide over here and try to give you some love and some support. And then you recoil me. Bitch, I'm going to the other side of the couch and I'm out. Fix your shit before you get with me. I need you to fix your shit.
As for him, I saw a side to him that makes me side eye him too. Because
he's got issues.
The excuse that, like texting or whatever, I'm sorry, we are in 2021 and you always let your mama know and if somebody's texting you asking where you are, why are you not responding? Or a quick text in the car, a quick text where you got where you had to be or whatever. Her reaction was outrageous, but what he did, it showed a level of immaturity, and I'm still going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, I agree with
you. And the way he gaslit her on it, and she don't need to be thinking that she's crazier than she already is, because she's already crazier.
Oh, clearly.
You were just like really putting logs on that fire. The way he gaslit her, I'm like, I'm going to be watching him too. I don't have any good vibes right now for either one of them.
Because again, like I said in the beginning, my thought with Zach is that Zach wasn't in it for the marriage. Like, he didn't want to be, he wanted the wedding. He wasn't in it for the marriage. He was just looking at it like, all my life, I don't know any man for that matter that's looking at like all my life since I was a kid, I just want to be married and have build a family. No, that's weird. Sorry, not sorry. That threw me off with Zach.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anybody specifically, but I can understand you get to a certain age and you see what your parents have, they seem like they have a good, I want that same thing, so I can see him saying, that's the kind of partnership I want in my life. I can see that, but he just showed really just a serious lack of immaturity and even worse than that, selfishness, because it didn't take but 2 seconds for you to just simply text your wife.
I get that. But she showed her whole natural ass.
And we all know that. We're talking about him right now. We all know that whatever she did was absolutely insane and she handled it wrong. But I'm talking about him right now. It was his lack of immaturity and his selfishness. Right. Obviously, there's some selfishness that you couldn't take 2 seconds to send a text. What's wrong with you?
I gotta look at it as a man brain mentality. Because men, sorry, Chris, men sometimes don't even think on that level. They may get a text and they'll text you like fucking 5 hours later. Been there, done that.
On what you say. You say, where are you? There's no 5 or 6 hours later and a new relationship that you want to build.
That is true. But it's married at first sight. And he might have that brain mentality like, she's like, where are you? And he knows he's clearly married to her, but he could also have that mentality like, I know I just married this bitch, but oh no, this bitch ain't trying to keep tabs on me.
You get one.
That's selfish.
Shahida, you get one pass as a dude. He didn't do it that one time. I'm sorry. Won't do it again.
Exactly.
Done.
Exactly.
Done. Now, if he doesn't learn from that, you're allowed to make a mistake every now and then.
Yeah.
He admitted, he said, I should have called this and the other, or whatever texted. But that's what he did. He said, I should have. But now that he knows, the next time, but for her to go where she did, it didn't balance out in terms of.
No, it doesn't balance out. I mean, I'm
gonna finish it on this one with Zach. I think Zach has issues too. I mean, I was not impressed with Michaela's handling of this, but I think there's something off with him too. There's something off with the both of them. And I don't have no hopes for these two. I think these two are going to be the explosive couple of the season. And that shit was just the fucking appetizer. I think next week or the week after, as each week goes that they're together, that shit's going to fucking go ballistic.
Well, I think we did definitely see who she was, a little bit of who she was on when she left to go back to.
A lot about who she was.
No, I'm not talking about this one. I mean, you could, because now in hindsight, you see, okay, the crazy was there on the honeymoon. You know, in hindsight, you can see a lot of little telltale signs. And one of them being, like you said, her sisters, how they treat her and how they coddled her. And I'm quite sure a lot of how she got her way was by losing her temper. And so she may be using, she may have these anger issues because it was coddled and it was accepted.
She's bratty. It seems like she's bratty.
It does. She seems very
because
bratty.
I'm sure they enveloped her because she was the baby. She's the baby. The daddy died.
And that's what I'm saying. Like with her father,
so those adult sisters enveloped her and was like, "We're gonna protect you, boo boo. We're gonna protect you, and we're gonna make sure you good." Now she's here, and now she's like, my sisters got me, my brother-in-law's got me. Now she's like, oh no.
So her father was 8. She was 8 years old when her father died in the accident, right?
I think so.
I know it was like under 10.
Arrested Development.
Yeah, when she was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, and her being, African American, I can see maybe her mother didn't say, you know what, we all need therapy because this is such a huge thing happening in our family. So there are things I do believe that she has not processed, but then I also believe too, she uses that as well. Mm-hmm. I feel like some people use these as weapons to go out into the crying thing that she did in front of, Zach and Dr. Cal or whatever. That was her weapon to say, like, the only reason I acted so crazy is because I'm so hurt and I'm so, I'm so wounded. I feel like that's a weapon that some people use, and that I didn't feel sympathy for her in that moment. I felt like you were using that moment,
your father's death, your father's tragic death, to fucking have them feel sorry for you, because she put it out there and she cried like a baby, and then all of a sudden Pastor Cal's talking to Zach and he's like, you're going to have to be the person, you have to make her feel you're her safe space. And then when he was trying to talk to her, she flipped the script. She was fucking bawling her eyeballs out about her poor, tragically dead daddy. I feel sorry for her that. But when when Zach was trying to talk to her, what was she doing? When he tried to get in close to her and when he's trying to talk to her, she was just like,
she needs someone older, more sagacious, more of a father figure, maybe someone 40 years old to deal with her.
No, she needs therapy, and then she needs a daddy. Then she needs a daddy figure.
But Zach is too young. He don't. He's like, what do I do? What did I do? like a 27,
he don't want to deal
29-year-old
with
dude does. That's what they, what the fuck's going on? Like that time. When you're 40 and you're going, okay, I've seen this. I know what I need to do. Deal with this. I'm married to this woman. She needs me to just, I'm sorry, and hold her.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because I can see, but he's like, well, I can remember myself when I was in my 20s and this and go, I don't know what's the problem. No. What's the problem? Like, trying to be like, man. It's like, okay, so what do you need? What do you need from me? That's what she needs. She needs to go, baby, I'm sorry. I'll let you know next time. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm not defending myself. You're here. You're with me. And we're married and we're going to make this work. That's what she needs. I think she needs.
I think she is the level of crazy.
She crazy.
That I don't even think a 40-year-old could deal with her. The way she took.
But better. Deal with her better than he is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone could deal with her.
She went from 0 to 12 in 2. Right. I've never seen anger build up that quickly.
That bad.
For no reason.
That was disturbing. And we all have our trauma. Don't get it twisted. Everybody has their trauma and shit they've been through in their lives. But I would never put that burden on somebody. Like if I want to have a relationship, or if I want to entertain a relationship or possibly get married again, I'm going to take care of my shit through therapy before I entertain a relationship.
Because a lot of times you don't even know what your shit is until you start dealing with other people.
No, but yeah, you know what your shit is. Her father, that's a tragedy. Like that's her thing. You can have random bullshit.
Like I said, I don't believe
shit. But tragic shit, like her father getting killed by a drunk driver who was her rock and her whole family's rock. That's tragic.
It's abandonment.
Right. And I don't think it's most people don't have that. Like that shit gets snuffed out real quick.
No, but my point is most people don't even have. They don't have this level. I mean, trauma is a word that we shouldn't just throw out lightly because I don't feel like I had trauma in my life. There have been traumatic events, but I don't have trauma. You know what I mean? But
I'll speak to it. I have trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with it, and I had therapy over it. Mm-hmm. And this is why I am still single because I'm not ready
more
for
than 1 or 2 times. Sometimes I have to like
I've had a full-blown therapist. I'll be honest. I had a full-blown therapist when I was living in Texas, but I haven't really explored it here since I've moved back.
How long did you have the therapist in Texas?
Like 5 years, and then I moved back.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So you were actually in therapy for 5 years?
Oh, for real? Like 2-3 times a week? Because I was out there.
See,
I had a fucking nervous breakdown. Let's not get this shit twisted. I had a nervous fucking breakdown. And that's all I want to talk about that. But I'm saying I had a therapist for like 5 years, and I was like, I got to move home. I'm moving back to Massachusetts. So I've had trauma.
Right, and I believe that she had trauma too. But my point with her and in her situation is one, we say that I don't think she's ever dealt with it.
Right,
and I just think that in that moment, I felt that she was manipulating that trauma that she's had in her life, and
absolutely
expecting him, Dr. Cal and Zach to fix that in those moments. It was.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah. No, I didn't like it because at the end of the day, look, you gotta own your shit, and you gotta fix your own shit. I would never entertain relationship, let alone a marriage, if my shit ain't right. Because I'm not bringing that shit to the table. I may talk to you about it, but I'm not making that your shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't need you to coddle me.
But a lot of people think that
if you want to, that's great. If you want to have a conversation about it, but I'm not going to do. That's not that expectation,
right?
And I think she thinks that's an expectation for her.
A lot of people think that when they get into a relationship, that whatever was bad before is going to automatically be fixed when they are with somebody. So especially if it's an abandonment issue. You know, her thing, I'm marrying, he's gonna be with me, we're gonna be, you know, build this happy life or whatever. Like I said, look at what she said the night before. All the right words.
Right.
But she didn't mean any of that. Because it's like, it's her perception too. Again, she has this warped perception of what being in a committed relationship.
And I think it's only going to get worse. We vowed that we're not watching the previews, and as soon as that shit, when they say next week, I turn that shit off real quick. But I'm saying there's just something about her. Oh, did you? I didn't watch it. All I'm gonna say is with her, with Michaela alone, and maybe it's because I got a kindred spirit to her with the trauma and all that bullshit. There's something off with her. She needs help. And I have a feeling that little outburst she had in that apartment is only going to get worse. And she's going to lose her shit. And she's going to show her whole natural ass. And yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I think Zach's going to walk away from her and be like, I can't deal with this shit. As I would if I was Zach. I'd be like, yeah, I got my own issues, but I can't fuck with this bitch. This bitch needs fucking whole therapy.
She does. Yeah. I mean, there's no way I would want that from my child to have to deal with her.
No, I wouldn't want that for anybody. We all have our fucking crosses to bear, but don't go get married or don't go get in a relationship.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Let the
Chris, I love how you segue into the ending. Ow.
Exactly.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
One more thing.
Come on, cheerleader.
When Jose, let me finish. When Jose ever told Rachel that she had too many pencils, and why
I was like, really?
Thank you.
That was simple.
Thank you. And it's a thank you, Shahida.
Wait. This isn't even all of them. I have like 5 or 6 of these.
Yeah, but not only that though, those are things from her travels.
Right.
I know.
I collect shot glasses.
So it was important. It's not about the pencil. It's about that she went to these things and she got, look, you know, if she had a whole Chotsky thing of nothing but pigs or something from everywhere she got, it'd be one thing. Pencils on the Jose, shut the fuck up.
Really? Jose needs to shut his fucking mouth.
Seriously.
And I literally want to sit and hit him in the throat.
We can end on all of us saying, Jose, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck. Let's all 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
wait. Shut the fuck up.
I did make some notes. I don't believe in dishwashers.
Was that horrible?
Yes. I
do remember that. He's like, I just wash my own dishes. Jose is going to find the man of his dreams very soon.
And then I had
somebody who's a penny pincher. He should know that washing dishes by hand
saves money,
wastes more water.
Exactly, right. And then I have this other thing I had in here. It says Merla. She said that's corny. I said, and bitch, we're still strangers. Slow down. That's the note. I'm not exactly sure what I was talking about.
I think
she said that's corny about something.
No, corny. She said it was corny about him carrying her over the threshold.
Yeah.
Remember? When they got married, they went to the honeymoon and they went to the hotel in Key West. He carried it over the threshold. And then when they got to the mutual apartment, he carried it over the threshold. And she's like, that's corny. And he's like, his confessional was like, oh, I don't care. If she moves into my house or if we get a new house, I'm going to continue to do that. I thought that was cute. I'm sorry. I like Gil. Gil has his issues, but I like Gil. And I like that shit where he's going to pick me up and carry me over the threshold all the time. I'll be like, okay, great.
And that's what makes her so.
But for her to be like, I think it's just corny. And then she's like at the camera, she's like, whatever, I don't care.
I'm going to start calling her Veruca.
I just call her greasy bitch because
Veruca
she's so greasy. She's so greasy. Her face is greasy. Her hair is greasy. And for somebody to be so extra, her shit's unkempt. She needs a bath.
Veruca Salt. You know who Veruca Salt is?
No, who?
Wait a minute. Oh, Jesus.
I want it now. Huh?
Was that her name, Veruca? I don't even remember that, but okay.
Veruca Salt. Unbelievable.
From Willy Wonka. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just say this. Merla, listen, Merla is no Wilhelmina. Don't get that shit twisted. You already know who I'm talking about.
Veruca Salt. That's what I'm going to call Merla from now. I want it now. All right, girls, ladies.
All right. Hold on. Let's end this. We'll see you next week.
I think we're going to be very
Hot Topics Wednesday. Everybody have a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
Nothing at all. 'Cause they never move too fast.